All right, so my Mavs lost to the Thunder tonight in a game that was really, really impressive. Look, as a Mavs fan, I know I'm biased, but I tried to watch that game as unbiased as I possibly could for the sake of making this video, and I just can't tell y'all that the Thunder didn't play incredible. They look like truly as good of a basketball team as any team in the league. I think once they get Chet back, you'd be hard pressed to convince me right now that this isn't the best team in the sport, and that includes the Boston Celtics. I legitimately think the Thunder are that good. I think you have realistically your two best contenders in the Western Conference coming tonight or playing tonight in the Thunder and the Mavs. And I thought the Mavs struggled in a lot of ways, but the things that the Mavs struggled in were forced by the Thunder. That was the impressive part about tonight's game, is the way that they were able to make the Mavs so uncomfortable offensively and limit the Mavs offense as much as they did. It took the Mavs a long time to get Kyrie or Luka going at all. They only had 4 combined field goals in the first half. Luka had 2 points in the first half. Finishes was 16, 11, and 5. Kyrie goes 17, 5, and 2. Clay had a decent offensive game, but overall, it was a struggle for pretty much any Maverick not named Najee Marshall tonight on the offensive end of the court. Najee was it was nice to have him back, but it certainly hurt not having PJ Washington as a Mavs fan. I think that would have swung the game to a bit. But realistically, having Chet Holmgren for the Thunder would swing this game as well. And it's so impressive that they are playing this well now, 19-5. Or are they 20-5 after tonight's game? I'm not sure if it's updated yet. No, they are 19-5. Okay. So 19-5 with Chet Holmgren having missed the majority of those games and likely out for a while. It's very impressive to see them still be the best team in the West without their third best player, or arguably second best player, although I think J-Dub has kind of taken that mantle at this point. This Thunder team is playing incredibly well. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with a 39-piece on elite efficiency tonight, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. As a whole, the Thunder shoot 40% from 3, 45% from the field, force 18 turnovers while only turning the ball over 13 times, and most importantly, win the rebounding battle, both offensively and defensively. 17 offensive rebounds to only 7 for the Mavs, and 8 more rebounds overall. That's something that was very impressive for the Thunder, as we'll get to later in this video. They have the worst rebounding pretty much in the entire league. They're right at the bottom of the league and were able to win the rebounding battle tonight. I thought Hartenstein was really good. J-Dub, efficiency-wise, 8 of 21 doesn't look great, but I thought he had a really good game as well. He was really, really decisive on the offensive end of the court. Guys like Lou Dort and Cason Wallace just play their roles so well. Kenrick Williams, Isaiah Joe. You can go on and on. Alex Caruso goes 2 of 7 with 6 points and was one of the most impactful players in the court tonight. And that's probably the most impressive thing, in all honesty, about this Thunder team, is the amount of different bodies that they have that are elite level perimeter defenders, can throw at top tier guys like Kyrie and Luka and make their lives so hard, sending impressive rotations and rotating behind it as well. Put in a body on another offensive player to prevent the rebounds. Just doing a lot of really, really good things, and all the little things that will separate a basketball team is what I was most impressive to see Oklahoma City do tonight. I really thought they just played incredibly high level basketball, a lot of hustle, seemed like they were in awesome shape, really confident, like they just played great. And even when the Mavs were making their comeback in the fourth quarter, they went from down 20 to down 10 in a row. SGA comes right back in, quiets the ship, knocks down a 3, they get a couple stops, rebuild the lead up to about 17, and the game was over. And look, as a Mavs fan, it was frustrating to watch, right? I truly believe Luka's going to have much better performances against the Thunder than he did tonight. I think having PJ Washington will help. I think the Mavs have already beat the Thunder earlier this year. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Thunder are just way, way better than the Mavericks. But after tonight, I have no choice but to tell you, I mean, the Thunder look like the better team right now, 100%. I don't really think there's much debating it. They're playing elite level basketball. They added 2 just massive additions in guys like Hartenstein and Caruso in the offseason, and they just have so many guys who do so many things well. Even a guy like AJ Mitchell is a rookie. I know he's 2 points, 1 of 3, but he's an impactful defender. The dude plays hard. He's in the right place at the right time. Like, this team is so good. They draft so well. They still have so many assets. I mean, they have the ability to upgrade this roster at any time. I would think they'll probably try to be a little bit more aggressive and trying to find a guy who fits perfectly this year if they have the opportunity to, because bringing in Gordon Hayward last year did nothing for them. So it'll be interesting to see if they try to make additions this year around the margins that maybe fit their culture a little bit more youth. But I wouldn't be shocked to see them be a team that was is a big pursuer of a guy like Cam Johnson, for example, who's going to be, I think, a hot commodity. Herb Jones as well, same type of story. Another guy who would just play a similar role to what guys like Dort and Cason Wallace, et cetera, already play on this team. They're just so good, and they have so many bodies to throw at you. It's really tough to match up with. And defensively, they're just special. And then obviously offensively, Shai is one of the smoothest players in basketball. Now, tonight's hot shooting, I think, was a little bit of an anomaly. He was really feeling himself tonight, was really in a rhythm. He's not quite that incredibly efficient, especially from the outside, but on the interior, he's one of the most efficient scorers around the rim and in the mid-range in basketball. just incredibly decisive, gets to his spot so comfortably, never flustered, never rushed, doesn't make a ton of mistakes, and plays really, really high level basketball. And I think J-Dub's been one of the best two-way players in the entire sport this year. A guy who's having an all-star caliber season, is clearly the second best player on an elite championship contention team. And then again, you get to everybody else and their ability to do so many other things at a high level. Dort is shooting the ball really well this year. Chet Holmgren was shooting great before he went out, and adding Chet back is going to be a massive addition. I mean, he's legitimately was right there having an insane defensive start to the year and a really good offensive start as well. Playing elite level basketball and gets hurt. He's again going to be out for another couple months at least, I would think. But I mean, realistically, they shot really, really well tonight. Guys like Kaysen Wallace knocking down, I believe, multiple threes as well. Kaysen made what, 3 or 4 of them? Yeah, 3 threes tonight. Like, they shot the ball pretty darn well. But this team has the talent to do that. They have so much versatility. They play a lot like the Celtics in a lot of ways offensively in terms of their ability to space the floor, especially when Chet Holmgren is healthy or when Kenrich Williams is in the game at center. Having a guy who can really space the floor and 5 out in a lot of ways certainly doesn't hurt. I just think there's a ton of versatility to this Thunder team, and especially once they get Chet back, the amount of different things they can do offensively and defensively is ridiculous. And I mean, the ridiculous part is they're already 19-5. They're already the number 1 seed in the West by 2.5 games. Best net rating in the league by a pretty significant chunk. They've won, what, 8 of their last 10 or 11 games? Playing really, really well. Just beat a Mavs team that had won 7 in a row and 11 out of 12 and made it look relatively easy. This team is elite. When you look at offensive rating, they're a really good offensive team. 115.2, 8th in the league. But they're the best defensive team in the league by a significant chunk. 103.3 versus 105.4 for the number 2 team, the Rockets. They have the best net rating in the league by a pretty significant chunk. And the most impressive part, they do it without rebounding the ball well. Adding Chet back will help with the rebounding. Getting Hartenstein back recently has helped with the rebounding. They were able to still play elite level basketball even when they didn't have a single healthy center on the roster. When Hartenstein was out, Jalen Williams, not J-Dub, but J. Will is still out, and obviously Chet going out. They were able to not just stay afloat, but play great basketball in that stretch of the year, which wasn't super long, but for a couple weeks there, at a really high level as well. They've done so many good things this year. There's really very little to nitpick about this Thunder roster, and it's hard to see them not, assuming not significant injury, I should say, which obviously they've already experienced with Chet. But if they can keep those guys healthy, realistically, I don't see why they wouldn't be the number 1 seed in the West, why they're not easily the favorite. And when they get Chet Holmgren back, bro, this is a puzzle that I would not want to have to solve. Let's just put it that way. And the most terrifying part, well, maybe not the most terrifying part, but the thing that kind of makes me think, yeah, it's kind of over this regular season for the top of the Western Conference, is they have the easiest remaining schedule of any Western Conference team. Literally not a single Western Conference team has an easier schedule remaining than Oklahoma City does. Every single team below them is an Eastern Conference team. So not only are they playing elite level basketball, best defensive team in the league, best point differential by far, playing unbelievably well on both ends of the court, they have the easiest remaining schedule of any of their competitors in the Western Conference. This team is elite. They are my favorites 100% to win the in-season tournament, the NBA Cup, and I think they will. And they just are playing unbelievably high-level basketball that makes it hard for me to honestly say that they're not the favorites. It's them and the Celtics, plain and simple. Like, obviously, the Cavs have been awesome. The Mavs have been awesome as of late. Other teams like the Grizzlies, the Rockets, the Magic, especially once they get Franz and Paulo back. I mean, the Knicks have looked better as of late. There's a lot of really good teams in basketball. But it's hard to argue that the Thunder don't look like the best of the group at this point. They just are playing incredible basketball, and the numbers back up the argument that they might be the best team in the sport so far this season. With that being said, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you'll hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.